8 hours and counting. The City Council is still hearing from the public on extending term limits without a voter referendum. So are we. Let's take a roll call. Are you for or against the mayor's bill? The call starts now. Michael Scotto, are you there, sir?
I am, John. Yeah, the last live shot was such a disaster that I decided to come back into the truck. You know, the Sergeant-at-Arms did not take kindly to my talking in the back of the council chambers. So
you were the only one making sense, Michael, for a long time in there. I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you for saying that. But after 7 hours, 8 hours of listening to the testimony, I think everyone is starting to get a bit loopy. We're not sure how much longer the testimony is going to last. As you said, there's about 184 people or so left to testify. We're not sure how many of those people are actually still at City Hall and have stuck it out throughout the entire day to wait for their turn to talk to City Council members. As you've been listening, there have been a number of exchanges between supporters and opponents. Some of the testimony has been a little contentious. Some of it, as you've probably heard, has been a little entertaining, listening to members of the public interact with their council members. There was one woman who was testifying, and I guess the council chambers were a bit too loud for her, so she raised her voice a bit and urged Simca Felder to calm down the chambers, and he did after repeated calls from her to do so. And throughout the day, I don't know if you've noticed, but there were a good number of council members. I'd probably say more than half of the 51 council members were there for a good portion of the day, and for a council hearing, that is a quite astonishing turnout. It's normally only maybe a handful of council members on a particular committee who show up. One council member, though, who was not there is a rather high-profile one. City Council Speaker Christine Quinn was not at any of the hearings earlier today, and she's not expected to show up tonight at all to listen in on the testimony. Her aide said that she had a number of meetings that she needed to attend, and as I said, there are plenty of more people left to testify, and then again tomorrow at 10 a.m. the hearing will reconvene when we'll hear from more members of the public and also some elected officials. And John, before I throw it back to you, I just want to mention one other important development today that happened that probably hasn't gotten too much coverage since we've been taking the hearings live, but Tom Golisano, he's an upstate billionaire, after meeting with opponents of the mayor's plan to extend term limits legislatively, he has decided to fund a campaign aimed at getting council members to vote against the bill. It's unclear at this point what that campaign will entail. We're expecting perhaps an ad campaign, maybe some flyers, but this all has to get together rather quickly because, as you know, the City Council could vote on this as early as next week. John.
Michael, we're watching live pictures as you're reporting, and at 9:06 we see plenty of regular folk who are now testifying, but that was not the case for the first several hours. In fact, heard from former politicians, we heard from Mario Cuomo, Ed Koch, we heard testimony from many union leaders, testimony from civic leaders. You saw in the background at one moment former Parks Commissioner Henry Stern testifying. Where were the people?
That was the question earlier in the day. It took me by surprise that they would have the administration testify first, along with former Mayor Ed Koch, as you mentioned, and former Governor Mario Cuomo.